Welcome to another episode of Cocktails with Cousins. I'm Erica.
I'm Raina.
And we are here to talk about Love and Marriage Huntsville, part 2 of the reunion. This one, honey, it's just so much to talk about. We got to jump right on in. But before we get started, go ahead and hit the like button because you know you're going to like what you hear. That's why you're here again to listen to us talk about the episode. Make sure that you share the episode as well as subscribe to our channel so you never miss an episode, okay? All right, so let's jump right on in. This Mel and Martell conversation is left over from the first reunion part of the reunion where the host asked the question, would he have married the other woman if he had met her before he met Mel? And when I tell you that pause was not exaggerated by production in any way, shape, and form, it was a genuine pause for life.
Yeah.
Was not saying anything, and I don't know if you saw it, but his Marceau had to give him the words to say to end the silence, because Marcel was the one that said, "Oh no, he wouldn't have married her," and then that's when Martell was like, yeah, like, but what did you think, honey? Because I was just like, whoa, that is crazy.
I mean, my heart hurt for Mel for him not to be able to answer. Like that's a slap in the face. That's worse than that. It's an understatement. Yeah, that's hurtful.
It was crazy. Well, Mel said that she thought that he couldn't leave both of them alone. So he kept going back to Mel and he kept going back to this other woman. And I love how her name is the other woman. Like, we ain't got no name, no nickname, no nothing. We just call her the other woman. Like, what in the whole world?
Oh, but you know what? Mel makes a good point when she was saying, if she is the whole restaurant, as you say, why are you keep seeing other women? Why aren't you with her?
Exactly. Well, the thing about it is I don't know if you caught that last part of what Marceau said. He said that the girl wouldn't have been with him if he didn't have money. And so I think that he understands that this girl is only after him for whatever the case may be. Because I at this point, I don't know that it can be money, because he had to rebuild after him and Mel broke it off. But I don't know why he doesn't want this girl that broke up his marriage. Like,
I mean,
be important at the time.
To me, that's what it boils down to. Like, was it worth it? You messed up your situation for this other woman who doesn't even want to be with you.
Exactly. Well, then the host tried to hint to the fact that may have not been enough for him. And Mel, hold on, wait, what you're not gonna do is say that I'm not right. I am enough. I'm everything. He was just being greedy. I was like, ooh, okay.
Yeah. That's exactly what he was being. And you know, it's crazy because Mel said, she said that Martell tells her all the time, if I'm not with you, I damn sure won't be with her. And I'm like, ooh.
How about that? But the thing about it is, though, that's so contradictory. So you had to be with her when you were married, but now that you're not married and you're available and she's available, y'all just had a baby together. But now she's not what you want. What? Make it make sense, please.
He just seems to be that person who wants what he can't have at the moment.
Well, that might be true. I don't know. I don't know. And then Mel, I felt bad for her because she was like, I saw that he was cheating, but I was being naive. And I was believing that it was a one-time thing and that he was going to, do the right thing, be stand by his family. We've been together. What did she say? They were married 10, 12 years together, maybe 14 years. I can't remember the math. I know it was 10 and 12 and 14 involved in it in some way, shape, or form. But what numbers were where, I don't know. But yeah, that's crazy for you to think that like they had been together all that time and then he just couldn't let this lady go, but don't want her.
Yeah, I can't. Martell. Mel deserves better. She really does. She deserves better, point blank here. But she gave him a chance. And he's greedy, as she said. He is greedy. He wants what he can't have in the moment. So Carlos, the host, asked Marcel and Maurice if they've ever been around the other girl to see how Martell is with her. And Maurice said no, but Marcel said yes. And he was honest.
Hold on, wait. I wasn't shocked in any way, shape, or form that Messi Marceau, that's what I put down, Messi Marceau had been with them together.
Right. And, you know, it's just crazy. Like, you saw Martel's face. He was, like, chuckling and smiling, giggling. I'm like, that ain't funny. Because this was news to Mel. She had no idea. She had no inclination that anybody else knew. She was like, wait a minute. I'm the one who brought it out. Like, y'all knew this before me?
Right.
I would feel some type of way. I'm not gonna lie. I would really feel some type of way. And so Marcel was saying, like, you could clearly see they had like a connection. He didn't like know per se that like that was the other chick, but he said being around them, like he could tell, you know, like, okay, there's a vibe there, and he wasn't with it, but he stayed. And that's the part where Kimmy jumped in and was like, okay, so did you know that they were like together, or like, and why didn't you leave? And Marcel was like, where would I go? So that's the part, girl. We paused the TV and I asked my husband, what would you do? Would you stay, or would you?
Well, our husband's gonna be on fire because of these TV people.
Listen, but it is like a clear divide, and I think that's the divide with how men think and how women think. Because all the ladies were on the same page with this. When they're like, nope, because I don't condone that, I'm gonna remove myself from that situation because I don't agree with it, and I'm not gonna be associated with that, which I 100% agree with. I am not gonna sit there and stay and hang around knowing you're cheating on your wife, whom I'm friends with. So that's a no-no, right?
Exactly. And to add to that point, what makes it so bad is the host was talking about how connected he was to this other woman. Do you remember that story when Mel said that he had sprained his back or something like that, and that he crawled up the steps to get his other phone to text, call that girl? Like, let me tell you something, I would have chopped him in his back.
Man, I would have broken his other ankle.
Something. But I say that to say, like, that's how deep it is. And I feel like Marcel, when it comes to Marcel, he's so much on bro code that he's trying to like respect the brothership, or I guess, but he doesn't realize that he was being hella disrespectful to Mel.
Yeah, seriously, because at that point, if you know something and you don't say anything, you already made your choice and your decision. Whether you intentionally like know whether you know that or not, right?
Yeah. You
are Team Marcel. You have chosen a team at that point. And so I would have been hurt if I was, like, you supposed to be like my brother. You supposed to be looking out for me, right? And he was saying, he's like, I mean, I was telling him that, I'm not with this. So if you're not with it, get out of there. Like, don't hang around that. Don't, Now, to Maurice's point, he was like, well, I wouldn't leave because then you can't have any influence on that. And I get, I understand what he's saying, but it's like, do you really think in the moment Martel's going to be like, trying to like hear what Maurice is saying, be like, you know what, you're right, let me just send her home? No, that's not going to happen.
Exactly. I didn't get the whole, you don't have any influence if you leave. Your influence would be you leaving, because he would realize like, oh, he is not about this life. So let me at least think about it. I don't think it would have changed his behavior because, I mean, we're talking about Martell here. But it would have at least said that I don't stand by you. By sitting there and staying there and entertaining her in the process of hanging out with him, then you're saying, okay, I'll tolerate it. And I'm not going to tell your wife.
You're complicit. Exactly. You know, and then if you were any type of influence, Martell would know better not to bring no other chick around you like that. That's just my opinion, though. I like, know your friends. You know they're not going to stand by if that's the type of behavior you're bringing around them. Because, like, I mean, look at Tisha. I'm sure, I mean, that she wasn't happy. Kimmy wasn't happy because they looked at their husbands like, okay, so,
right.
Are you hanging around that? Like, you condone that? You're okay with that? Because if the shoe was on the other foot, you know, like, that's why I think the women, they were really on the same page with that. They would have done it for one another because they all wanted, like, I'd be looking out for my girls too. So
exactly. I didn't even understand what their logic was. I put down the men just don't get it. Like they understand that hanging out with him while he's cheating is like negative.
I couldn't be around that.
Like that was like the understatement. Like it was like a glaring, like it was like, wait, hold on, wait, you don't see the wrong. Like it was horrible. I couldn't believe that they had said that. It was.
I have a question for you though. If something like that had taken place and you knew that this person was cheating on their husband or whatever, and you was with your girlfriend, y'all were out, and she was like talking to some other dude, you wouldn't like say anything if you're friends with her and her husband? You don't want to be the messenger. You just
hold on, wait. If she wasn't there, I would have been FaceTiming her. Honey, let me show you what is going on right here. I'm sorry.
But I'm saying if it was one of your girlfriends and y'all are having a girls' night out, but she's with some dude and she's married now. Dude? Yeah. What would you do?
Okay.
Girl now.
I'm not staying. That's for sure. Now, if it was the other way around, it was the man cheating on the woman, then I definitely would FaceTime. It depends on how close I am with the dude. I'm definitely not staying. That's for sure. Would I FaceTime him? I'm not certain. But I definitely wouldn't stay there and condone it. Because that's crazy or whatever. Like I couldn't do that. But FaceTime him, I'm sure. It depends. But I don't think I wouldn't even want to be involved in that in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
You do.
See, that's
tough. Would you tell?
That's tough. So for me, it depends on relationship. If I'm friends, if that's my girlfriend, I'm gonna let her know, like, look, I'm not with this. I'm leaving. Right. But if I'm friends with the guy and it's his wife and I met her through him, I'm FaceTiming him like, bruh, look what the girl doing. So that's what I'm saying. It depends on the relationship, who I'm friends with. Right.
Yeah, that's the key is who I'm friends with. Like whoever I'm friends with, I'm loyal to them. Like no
loyalty lies with your friend, right?
Yeah, exactly.
First. Right.
Yeah. But Lord, honey, talk about some sticky stuff to be in anyway. I thought that Mel handled it well, because she was so sarcastic with I'm not the one who brought her out. Like I thought I was the one that told the world about her or whatever. Right. And then she was like, the Atlanta streets and the Huntsville streets, like we were in both of them. But I thought it was funny. But what was hurtful, another situation that was hurtful, another comment that was hurtful was when he said, I don't want anybody talking about her now that I have a baby about her. Right. And then so Mel just went right on in, and I was like, you're right, Mel, because she was like, well, you weren't worried about protecting me. We were together for 12 years and got 4 kids together, but you weren't worried about protecting me. And I was like, that's what I'm talking about, Mel. You lay it all because that was crazy.
Man, and then I think the other thing was Mel had said something. She's like, it's like comparing a Honda to a Rolls Royce. And
that's what TikTok.
But his response, disrespectful.
Oh God,
he said, y'all got a degree from the same place though. Like, why? Why exactly. Is that the response?
And didn't he go to the school too? Like, isn't that where they met? Like, I don't know. Maybe I made the assumption that they met in college, but I'm like, bro, y'all in Huntsville. I'm sure Huntsville is not that big of a place.
It's really not. Yeah. Yeah, it's really, but that's so disrespectful. And okay, so here's my thing though. Like, I get that Mel is hurt. I probably wouldn't have even said the whole Honda and Rolls Royce thing, but he should have never came back with that.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's just, one is disrespectful. Two, it should have never been a side chick to begin with. So like, why are you
getting defensive when you the one that brought this situation on yourself?
Exactly.
What I mean, I don't know. But then that's when they took a break.
Yep.
And they had a chance to be able to kind of chit chat with their partners or whatever. And you know, my love of Kimmy always keeping it real, because she was like, but how you just gonna sit back and say you was gonna stay when he was cheating on the girl or whatever, you know, cheating on Mel with the girl. Like, Kimmy always has that of a sound mind, and she's never angry when she's saying it. She's so level-headed. It was just so interesting to kind of see. And then Marcel and Tisha were having a similar conversation, and I'm gonna say it's messy. Marcel, what did you think?
First, Maurice lied when he said no. He lied.
Yes,
he was clearly there.
clearly.
But it's funny how when Tisha asked Marcel, like, he really keeps that whole bro code thing. Like, he puts that first because he was like, I don't remember Maurice being there, like, just playing dumb. And I'm like, Tisha saw right through it. She's like, yeah, okay, yeah, right.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I just, you know, Kimmy said something. She's like, once you stay, you make a choice to participate. And that's exactly what I was thinking. Like, that's why I would leave. I would not stay. And Maurice, like, he never understood. Like, he's like speaking a different language with Kimmy. He just doesn't understand what she's saying, because he's like, yeah, we're just not going to agree on this. And I'm like,
he was so naive to believe that he was doing nothing wrong. And I thought it was genuine in his not understanding like what the problem was. Sad. But he genuinely was confused about like why he couldn't stay, to try to influence him to do the right thing.
Yes. Yeah. He just reminds me of like a kid that's so naive, like they don't know any better, that type of naiveness. Yeah.
Yes, he is very much so.
So during that break, you know, Mel broke down, and her mom, Vanessa, she was talking about how she just wants the kids to be in a protected environment. And then that kind of led to saying, well, Mel just wanted to take the kids and leave. And here's the thing. Yes, I mean, Martell is a terrible husband, but so I don't know how to say it. On the contrary, he's a great father, because that's one thing Mel always did say. She was like, no, he's a great father. And she will even say that. So it's like, I don't like when people use children as a pawn to get back at their ex or whatever. Like that really bothers me. I don't like that whatsoever. And so I understand, like, in a way, like, no, you should be a great example to your kids of how to treat your wife, right?
Yeah.
But as far as treating the children, he's a great dad. So I didn't think that it was right for them to even insinuate just taking the kids and leaving. You know, she was like, well, in the state of Alabama and Huntsville, like, they're not, the system doesn't work that way. Yeah. And I mean, it's a good thing that it doesn't. But I understood what she was saying when she felt like, you know, as the wife, like, it's like they force you to stay in these toxic relationships or whatever, instead of just being able to pick up and leave. And I kind of felt for her. I understood what she was saying. But I still don't agree with using the children as pawns. Like,
and the thing about it is, from what she has displayed online, where she wants to be at is in Atlanta. Atlanta is maybe 2 seconds away from Huntsville. It
Right.
feel like when they're in a better place, then there could be some conversations about her going to Atlanta and being in Atlanta or whatever. But right now, it is unfortunate that she is in that position, and it's really horrible that they're not having a good co-parent relationship. But you know, like you said, you don't want to hurt the kids in the process of trying to spite, or, you know, yes, I'm not even gonna say spite. It sounds like she just really wants to be away from his negativity. And for me, I think it's that he believes that this is just a phase and that he is going to be able to maneuver himself back into her life. And the faster he figures out that that is not the case, the better off he'll be.
I can't imagine how frustrating that is for Mel, though, because it's like she wants to move on with her life, but he is making it so difficult.
Yeah.
So difficult. Like, just, I wish he would just leave her alone, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that's why she was like really crying out of frustration, because it's like she cannot get away from him. Like, they have kids together and they have to co-parent, and he's going to make her life difficult, and whatever, even her dating life for that matter, because look what he did, you know, in the
took the video or picture of them at the restaurant.
Yeah. So I can only imagine. And then, you know, like you said, she could even be in Atlanta, but he was out and about with the other chick in Atlanta. So
how about that? Can't even get away from him there. I guess for me, it is like, sir, like you said last week, you made your bed and you have to lie in it. So you made this bed over a period of a few years when you couldn't leave this chick alone. Now you don't even want the chick.
Yeah.
But you want Mel to want you. Like, you had a whole baby on her, sir. Like,
a whole baby. A whole baby. And to go back to that point, like he was saying how, well, just because I was messing with a girl don't mean I want to marry her. And I'm like, oh, see, I can't. This whole conversation, I cannot. Like, how he is very immature. He is so immature. I hate to say that she wasted 12 years with him, because it went down the drain. Yes, she got her children out of that, but I mean, to put all that time and effort into your marriage, and then for somebody to still have that type of like thought process, it's frustrating.
Yeah, it was definitely frustrating. And to add to that frustration, when they got back on stage and Destiny entered in, he did something else that was like so crazy. Him and Austin, when they were talking about Destiny and why she ain't have a man. Oh, honey, I wanted to jump through the screen.
Right. Right.
I still told some. Well, what he like called her man. Like he basically called her man. Said she had a penis. And trying to put it on the table.
He told they showed a little clip of Destiny after she had, you know, put it out there that she and LeBaric had gotten divorced.
Yeah.
And she said something to Martell. And he was like, see, that's why he left you. That's why you don't have a man, because you and Melly just alike. Y'all are so outspoken and what was the word? He said men don't like women that are outspoken.
Mouthy
women.
Yeah, mouthy women. That's what he said. And I was like, so y'all don't like women who can articulate their feelings?
Listen,
that's what it sounds like to me.
And that frustrates me, because how many daughters do you have?
How many
daughters do you have? And you're gonna sit there and say that to your daughters? Oh, men don't like mouthy women. Like, how?
Exactly.
What type of example are you being for your daughters? Right?
Yeah, no, that's where he is. Oh God, what is the word I want to use? I'm just gonna call it stupid. That's because that's the best word I can get out my mouth right now. That's where he is stupid, because sir, you make no sense. Like, what is this, 1950? Like, I
The audacity
to you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I
like
was
everything
through.
that comes out of his mouth makes me cringe. Like, whoo. Yes.
Yeah.
You hit it on the head. He's still living in the 50s. I thought Marcel was living in the 50s. Definitely Martell's living in the 50s.
Yes. But see, and then the other dudes kind of backed him up because there go Missy Marceau. Yeah, like, I mean, she got somebody need to put her in her place. Where's her place?
Woo. And but you know what
place you speak of?
Oh yeah, I cannot. Some of it's like they literally it boils my blood to hear some of the things that come out of their mouths. The only person who hasn't really said anything like that was Maurice. Although he has his naiveness, I'll take the naiveness over stupidity any day.
Any day.
Now I am so shocked to hear LeBerick filed for divorce 3 weeks after she gave birth to Law.
Girl, I was like, 3 weeks? That ain't even enough time for y'all to even get into a regular sleeping pattern with the new baby.
Right. It's like,
I'm done.
And you're like the most vulnerable, you know, you just had a baby, you're still hormonal. Maybe she said some things, but hey, you got to give her that grace period. She is still hormonal. She is a new mom of first mom at that. Like it's her first child.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I'm not gonna lie. Those first, I'll say 10. The first 10 to 12 weeks are rough. I mean,
especially for your first one. Look, let me tell you something. When we brought my oldest home, I was like, he's never gonna sleep.
Listen, my husband, when one of my babies was born, the third one, she was like 3 weeks old.
Uh-huh.
And my husband and I had a whole fight about potato salad over Thanksgiving break. Girl, I didn't think we were gonna make it. Okay, my baby is 3 weeks old, and we had a whole fight about potato salad. Let me tell you, that's you guys like that. They were too hasty with the divorce decision. I think they should have worked through it. They could have worked through it. Yeah.
I don't know, because okay, and I agree. I think like what she said, 3 months, 3 weeks, 3 weeks. Which one?
3 weeks.
3 weeks. Okay, I'm giving it too much time. 3 weeks after, like. Can you imagine like both of them, like, because to my understanding, both of them, this was their first child. So you were going through too much or whatever, but listening to her tell their story, they were dating, but didn't live together. They finally moved in and got married. Then they had the baby and then COVID happened. So like, I guess that was just too much too soon, like to go from not living together to being stuck in COVID.
COVID messed up, broke a lot of homes, let me tell you.
Yeah.
They really realized, you know what? I really don't like you.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I just think maybe, like, I'm with you that maybe it was too soon, but they did jump back to last season when they were talking about her hyphenating her name and him wanting her to hyphenate her name. What it like for you and your husband? Like, was that his like absolutely gotta happen type thing? Like, what's your experience in this name change thing?
For me, I was happy to take his name, and for me, it's something about like my children and I and my husband all having the same name, the same last name. Like, I was happy. I was all for it. This man respected me enough to take my hand, and we have children, you know, like to me, that was the thing. Now, you know, I don't know. I just figured like that's like traditionally how it goes. But I do have family members that are like doctors, and you know, my cousin, she's a doctor, and she ended up hyphenating her name when she got married because she was a doctor first. So I get, as far as like paperwork and stuff, it's probably hectic to take on and change the last name completely. If you would hyphenate it, you know, it's still there, you know, whatever. So I don't know, but the way Kimmy broke it down, I like how she broke that down, because that makes a lot of sense about leaving the legacy, and it is a big deal. So,
and see, okay, so I agree and disagree with Kimmy's statement, and this is why. Okay, one, okay, I'm a person. My name is hyphenated. I hyphenated my name because at the time of me and my husband getting married, I was raising my brother who had my maiden name. And so I went to his school. I needed to be able to show like I'm the person that's supposed to be with him. You get what I'm saying? So I hyphenated my name for that reason or whatever. But like with our kids have his last name. Like their name is not hyphened in any way, shape, or form. So I got what Kimmy was saying about the legacy, but I'm saying like for the kids, like they have his last name in totality. There's no hyphen or anything like that. My son has my maiden name as his first name, so he couldn't have it as one of his last names too, because that would be dumb. But I mean I understood it, but enough for it to be like I'm about to divorce you because you hyphenated your name. Like I don't know that I think it's that serious, but now looking at it from a different perspective.
Exactly. That to me, that's different. I don't see anything wrong with hyphenating your name.
Yeah.
Now, if you were saying I just don't want your name, period, then I'd be offended.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I would be highly offended if you're like, no, I don't want to have your last name. Your last name sucks. Like, no, I'm not that. I would feel something. I would be hurt. But if it's about hyphenation, your last name is in there. Yeah. So why? And your son don't have to be, you know, the hyphenation. It could just be the father's last name. So what is the issue? And she had valid points too, like about having the last connection between her brother she lost and her mom. Like I get all that. So I didn't see anything wrong with that.
Yeah, I have a girlfriend like that too. Her and her sisters, it's four of them. She kept her name because she was like, well, my dad doesn't have anything to pass on his name to. Like we are his legacy or whatever. Her kids have her husband's last name. And I'm like, hey, that makes sense. That's cool. You know, there's a legacy there. I don't know. I just thought it was like a bit much. I don't know if maybe he was overwhelmed and just was like, I'm done. And get to know him at all because he wasn't on the show at all. Like just one episode or two.
Yeah, he really wasn't. But she also said that in one of the clips she was saying she felt that LeBerick was not fully present.
Yeah.
So, you know, because Mel was asking in that clip, she was like, wait, he doesn't help around with the baby. He doesn't help around the house. And she was like, I just feel like he's not fully present all the time.
But if you think about it, he had already filed for divorce at that point. Because he said that he filed for divorce after the baby was 3 weeks. The baby was older than 3 weeks when she got on the show.
It's true. But I will say this. Maybe she was speaking in, you know, prior to, I don't know. Yeah. But all men are different. So I can't say all men because it's not the case. There are very hands-on fathers out there. And then there are men or fathers who are like, okay, I can't do this baby stuff. I don't know about babies, but once they can throw a football, then I'll be present.
Right. Yeah.
And so
I don't know. It was interesting. I just hope, but I did like the way that she said that they were co-parenting. Like she was like, I don't have a problem with him coming over, hanging out, you know, whatever. So they at least seem to have tackled that part, you know, in a way. I'm not going to say correctly. There's no correct way, but they at least handled that better than they handled marriage. And I mean, only time will tell. I'm not saying I'm trying to put them back together, but maybe they just needed time to let heads cool and then they could kind of see, I don't know.
Look. And that's why I say I felt like it was in haste, that decision that was made and about the divorce. That's why I felt like they should have gave it a little bit more time. Like I said, 3 weeks in, as a woman, you're still have raging hormones, all that stuff. Like y'all just got to give each other grace.
Yeah.
I mean, on both sides.
Exactly. Exactly.
Now, did you catch the part where she was like, I think they said she was talking about when Destiny was saying how they were together for 5 years before marriage.
Got married.
Right. And they're like, what? Y'all made it 5 years? And she was like, yeah, we had breaks.
I call her break comment. I was like, oh, okay, y'all had breaks.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
Destiny, was you doing a Martell?
Hey, that's why they say she got big dick energy. That's what they kept saying.
Yeah. I mean, but you do know that Destiny and Martell were friends before Mel and Destiny. So that is an interesting twist onto that kind of partnership, relationship type thing too, or whatever, because they were friends first.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about this perfect couple, Tiffany and Lewis.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Let's.
Tiffany, let me tell you something. Tiffany's mouth, when they were doing the flashbacks, I wrote down Tiffany's mouth is reckless. She deserved everything that she got on the internet. They said they were for it and they were not here for her.
They said she was messy and rude, and there was a petition to fire her off the show.
Well, she already got fired from one job allegedly. So,
allegedly, she denied it. Allegedly,
she did. I said, girl, if that was the loudest yes no that I ever did hear, you know good and well you got either you may not have gotten fired, but you might have been asked to resign.
There you go, right? Because Kimmy, I mean, she said it with all the confidence in her. She was like, and she didn't hesitate to throw it out there either. When Carlos asked, what did he ask? He was like, what did he say? He said, are there things about Tiffany and Lewis that you know that they've neglected to share on camera? And everybody said, yes.
It was like they were singing a song, girl.
And as soon as they said that, Kimmy blurted out, I heard Tiffany got fired from the chamber.
Yeah.
And Tiffany was like, no. Kimmy was like, I feel like there's a conversation of transparency there.
Yeah, exactly. And poor Mel just caught in between her old friends and her new friends, because she's sitting there and they was like asking her questions, and Mel was like, well, I didn't know her personally. I knew it through business, girl. You know that girl is not transparent. She's like a sheet of notebook paper. You can't see nothing through her. Like,
and I mean, like, who was it? Kimmy, Maurice, Marceau, Tisha, they were all coming for Tiffany. And I don't know if you heard, but like Martell kept like trying to stick up for Tiffany and Lewis. He was like, Dad, y'all act like they were on the show for 3 years. Like, come on, like give them a chance. And I'm like,
right.
Okay,
and they was like, yeah. And they said, yeah, and they haven't been on the show that long. That's why they need to keep their mouth closed.
That's right. There you go, that part. So
I'm trying to understand why he was defending them so much.
I have a feeling like off camera, he and Lewis have gotten closer. I have a feeling.
Probably so.
Because he's coaching his son, or if that's still a thing, he's probably coaching his son in baseball. Gotcha. Because I think he likes, I personally think he likes Lewis's approach when they talk man to man. Because Lewis isn't like aggressive or like kind of like Marceau. You know what I mean? And he doesn't poke at the bear. He's kind of like, he shows him a new perspective, whatever. And I think Martell, he likes that in Lewis. He doesn't feel like he's being talked down to. Yeah. So I have a feeling that he likes him as a friend. So that's why he kept trying to stick up for them.
Exactly. Well, you know, there was a point where Lewis said that if he had that drink when they was talking about Monster, they could have had it. Kimmy said, bring them.
Kimmy's like, I wish you would have took that shot. Right. Hey, Kimmy came like ready this reunion. She came ready. Yeah. So,
but she always drops those subtle truth bombs. She'd be like, dang, Kimmy, you right.
Rightfully so. Yeah. And she's on point with it. So that's why I love Kimmy. I really do.
Yeah. Well, they said that Lewis and Tiffany were fake. And I just don't know that we got the most authentic version of them. They mentioned that their conversations seemed practiced and rehearsed. I think that they could have been a little rehearsed. Not like Bao and Johnny rehearsed, because Johnny thinks that her not wanting to talk about sex life was, rehearsing. I literally think that they rehearsed these conversations.
Yeah.
And they did seem, a little not authentic. And Destiny said that they were surface level. And I would agree. Yeah. If they're going to continue on, they're going to have to do something different than what they were doing this time.
Right. Because I think the only thing that they showed that was kind of flawed was when Tiffany was upset about Lewis taking the boys to get a haircut and she missed out on it.
Yeah.
And that's why Marcel was like, okay, that's like nothing, first of all.
Like, it was funny to hear him say, like, oh, if you screw up the first year of marriage, then you're probably I forgot what he said, but
he said you should be embarrassed if you ought to be embarrassed. And then Destiny was
like, should I be embarrassed? And then Kimmy came to her rescue and was like, no, girl, y'all made it 2 years.
Yes. But you know what though? What is it? I think it was Kimmy. Kimmy said, if you don't want to show your true self or whatever, that's fine. Just stop acting like you're so transparent and everyone else is not. And I'm like, that is the issue right there.
Yeah.
If she was not claiming that she's so transparent, then this wouldn't be a topic. Just stop saying that. Right.
Exactly.
She's quick to dish out everyone else's tea, but wants to be transparent about their issues and their flaws. But when it comes to her, like, nobody knows who she is, whatever.
Exactly. So. Well, that was part of the conversation. I was like, dang, Marcel, you actually got some sense. Like, because he was saying similar things. He was talking about the difference between what she thinks is transparent and what transparent is.
Yes.
Yeah, yes. I was like, okay, Marcel, okay, I understand that
he said that.
He did. He said that he said that being transparent is just putting it out there, basically. Where she's saying, I'm transparent, ask me any question. He was like, I shouldn't have to ask you a question. It should just be said. And I was like, well, how about that?
How about that? He makes a great point. Like, kudos.
Yeah. I was like, I said the first time I agree with Marcel.
Exactly. Yes, I said the same thing. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but go ahead.
Oh no. So Carlos asked, he said, when you look at Lewis and Tiffany, do you see a successful marriage? And he was asking Marcel this. Marcel said, I think y'all got off to a great start, and so did everybody. It's easy to celebrate the first year. You'd be that's what he was saying. You'd be embarrassed to get divorced your first year. And that's what Destiny said, whatever. And then he said, I don't think you're even qualified to give advice. You guys are the ideal couple. Wait until year 2. And I'm like, well said.
Yeah,
that's very true.
He put it on out there. He surely did. I was like, okay. I said he is batting over here.
He's on it. Right. Yeah. Now, Louis' response to, he said, I've been married for 5 years, then divorced. What you get out of divorce is wisdom, which is true. He said, I can still give you valid advice on your relationship right now. It's up to you to take it. And it makes you realize what you effed up on, right?
Exactly.
I felt like, no, it doesn't. He said, that's like saying I lost 7 games, so now I know how to win. You can realize what you messed up on a marriage inside of that same marriage. And I'm like, that's true too.
Yeah, that is true. Although I did think that Lewis had a valid point, is that when he was talking about that marriage, their marriage, they don't communicate well. And that's blazingly obvious to everybody who kind of, looks at them. And so Marcel could take that as, okay, I know I'm mad with the messenger, but he has a valid point. We don't communicate well, and we do need to communicate well, which is what I think he was going for. But Marcel was landing on thick. I was like, let me find out Marcel got some skills other than construction under his belt.
And you know what? He is quick. He is very witty. Marcel, I noticed that about him. He's witty and he's very quick with it too. Who was it? The host, Carlos, asked Tiffany, he said, Tiffany, what do you think about what Marcel was saying? Her and her sarcastic thing. She said, everyone has an opinion, same way they all have assholes. And Marcel came in, he said, okay, well, don't show your ass to me, right? And everybody was laughing. And I was like, and he was like, I don't listen to other people's assholes. I'm just saying. And I'm like, ooh, Marcel.
Yeah. Like, it was just, he was on it. He really was on it tonight in this episode. Sometimes when I didn't even like what he had to say, it was because when he was talking about Destiny, I was like, well, dang, she got to be in a place and all that. But anyway, he was on it.
Yes, and the
Definitely.
teacher put her little 2 cents in, talking about every time there's a new couple on the show, they always want to seem to give me and Marcel some advice. Like, we've been married the longest, put some respect on it. And I was like, I mean, yeah, but Tisha, when I look at your marriage, I'll be like, girl, you need to speak up for yourself.
Exactly. But the thing about it is, they the first new couple. What is she talking about? Is she talking about Destiny?
I guess, but I'm like, when did Destiny ever try to give Tisha some advice? So I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I get what she's saying, but still, Tisha, you just start talking, speaking for yourself in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
You don't think you speak enough for yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so what's next, honey? What's coming?
Okay. So next
is part 3.
Yes, they start off with showing, I guess, a discussion between Tiffany and Destiny. Tiffany said, it's so crazy how judgmental you are, talking to Destiny. And Destiny said, misopinionated things, I'm judgmental. She's like, yeah, I don't know why you're so snappy.
Oh,
and
wow.
I was like, okay. Yeah, they about to go there next week.
Again.
And Destiny also mentioned how she and Mel haven't really been speaking, like they hadn't spoken in a while. And so I'm like, oh, wow, maybe. And I'm trying to think back to that finale when Mel had her video, her
party.
Yeah. And Destiny tried to bring up like her issue, whatever. I'm like, wrong place, wrong time, sis. Like, no.
Oh my God. What was wrong with Destiny in that moment? I just kept looking at the screen and I was like, Destiny, honey, this is her moment. She don't want to talk about this in your village.
Exactly. Yeah.
It was too much.
And so, and then Tisha, she's like, she was talking to Mel saying, I don't think you know how to be a real friend. And I said, woo, that's gonna be a whole conversation.
I wonder what that conversation is about.
Yeah. And then Kimmy, she was going hard again at Tisha. She said, because I guess it was an argument between Kimmy and Tisha, and Kimmy said, you don't go hard for me, Tisha. And Tisha said, when do I not go hard for you? And Kimmy's like, well, when do you?
Exactly.
When have you? Right.
I'm with
you. And I was like, whoop, yep. So
where's the lie?
I don't even know if they're going to be able to continue having a friendship, because it's like Tisha keeps making it an issue when there isn't.
Yeah. Well, the thing about it is Tisha keeps allowing her mom to dictate this friendship, and what should be done, and what Kimmy should be saying or whatever. And it's not like that. Like, y'all sister-in-laws, y'all need to figure out what you want your relationship to be and like roll with it. But you always trying to make her stand some type of standard ground, whatever your family is thinking she's supposed to do. Like, Kimmy is honest if she's nothing else. And for whatever reason you want her to be, I'm not gonna say fake, but you don't want her to be truthful. Because when y'all had the situation about Mel, you wanted her to lie for you, with you, about you, or whatever, and good and well that y'all will, whatever the case may be. I don't know. Their relationship is interesting to me.
Honestly, to me, Kimmy seems to be a great friend. So I'm like, if you can't get along with Kimmy, there's something wrong with you.
Exactly. Yeah. What else? Did anything else happen? I don't.
Yeah, they basically showed Mel and Martell going back and forth, and Carlos, the host, asked. He said, "Do your kids know about your other son?" Talking to Martell, and he was like, "Yeah, Mel told them." And she said, "I told them." Mel told the kids. She said she pulled up to, I guess, wherever they were, and the kids saw him, the other woman, and their baby, and they were all bawling their eyes out, crying. And he was like, why would you even do that? Like, that's so messed up. That's so pathetic, like, that you would even do that. And she said, I don't have to protect your life. I agree with what she's saying, but I couldn't do that to my kids.
I know. It's so,
because that's hurting the kids.
Yeah. But my thing is, why didn't he tell them about this baby as soon as he was born?
Right. Exactly.
I feel like that's a little shame or something to undig or unpack.
I honestly feel like Martell he never wants to face his issues.
Yeah.
So like, he doesn't want to face the fact that he screwed up, he messed up, and the reason why the family's not together is because of him. He doesn't want to take responsibility, full responsibility of that. And I guess that he feels that he can't explain to his children, because when they're talking to one another as adults, when Martell is talking to other adults about why they're divorced, he goes back to, well, Mel wasn't pleasing me, right? She wasn't she wasn't satisfying me.
She was also cheating.
Right. But you can't tell your kids that. Like, that's inappropriate. And that's probably why he hasn't had that talk with them, because he can't blame the mom. Like, he can't tell them, well, it's your mom's fault that I cheated on her because she didn't do X, Y, and Z. You can't say that.
All I can say is that the internet is a real and true thing. And
yes.
Are getting to an age where they can Google.
Yes. And especially their oldest. I think her name is Mariah. Like, yeah. I'm sure she knows what is going on.
If she doesn't know, she's gonna know soon enough, because she's processing it a little bit more than the other kids. I'm sure that, and I don't know how many kids watch this show, but in that town, if you have one of your friends on TV, I feel like that would be a big deal. So for her to be on the show, like, her friends have to know about the show because he's on the show or whatever. For example, my son goes to school with some of the kids that are on some of the reality shows that are in Atlanta. And so when I make mention of it, I don't like try to bring it up, but when I make mention to it, like, oh yeah, their parents are on TV, he's like, let me see my friend on TV with their parents. Like, so I can only imagine that being the conversation in family, or in the families that interact with them. I don't know. That's just, and especially Huntsville is so small for somebody to be small. And people from Huntsville probably gonna come for me. I didn't call their town small twice.
Listen, I'm just saying, like, it's so funny how he always tries to blame Mel for anything that happens. So it's like he's blaming Mel for telling the kids, but it's like, well, if you would have told them, she wouldn't have had to, right? So exactly. So that's that, and then Van and Juan is gonna go at it again. So that's what I got for next week.
Well, look, that's what I was wondering, if the mama was gonna come out, but it wouldn't be a reunion without them, right?
right, exactly. Without.
Well, we'll go ahead and end this episode. We can talk about part 3 when it happens next week. Until then, you guys go ahead and hit the like button on this video. Make sure you share, and then make sure you subscribe so you don't ever miss an episode. Until next time, bye.
Bye.